GM, we talked about Telegram, Toncoin. Today is Friday, 14th of June, and we're going to do trade of the day. So, trade of the day is where I talk about a trade for the day, believe it or not. But we don't just day trade. And if there aren't great day trading opportunities, I will look ahead at something else that might be presenting. Now, I talked about this on my altcoin request stream, which you should check out over here. Yesterday, altcoin requests. There will be timestamps added to that today as well, so you can find exactly where I talked about Ton. But I said the gist of it was, you might look at this and think bearish. No, actually. What I said was, the expectation of a structure like this, a triangle pattern, with a breakout near the highs, should actually be for a clean break and trend up to a new level, wherever it's going to go to, right? That would be how you would expect those type of structures to develop. The problem is timing. I know Toncoin looks great now, but Bitcoin is absolutely not. Stocks don't look amazing either. Well, stocks actually do look fine, but the VIX is starting to tick up. We're seeing an increase in the VIX. You're seeing the dollar rallying after attempting to sell off. And these are, let me zoom it in, daily candles, right? The dollar showing strength, which is bad for risk assets generally. The VIX, again, spiking after being lower. And the S&P and the Nasdaq coming off the highs, right? So in the lower time frames, they gapped higher and they're pulling back. You've heard me talk before about how in the summer of an election year, you often see price pull back and have some chop, have some consolidation, which, what the fuck is this thing doing, man? There we go. Would not be surprised to see this or even a deeper move back as we chop around until the election. Regardless of all that, when you're looking at crypto and you're looking at an altcoin, it can do well in spite of BTC, but it's going to be very uncommon for it to go significantly higher and stay higher in the absence of BTC strength, right? So we saw this with Toncoin back in April. Its last big move came right at the time when BTC was off the highs, right? Or over here. So Bitcoin pumped up here and Toncoin pumped. Bitcoin then started to get bearish. It rejected, consolidated sideways. Ton kept pumping. As you see here, you can see the cursor on both. And then Bitcoin collapsed. Toncoin pulled back as well. That's how you get a failed breakout attempt. Now, it obviously wasn't a overall high time frame failure for Ton because it ended up coming back, holding it, and building up into this nice structure. But for anybody who was thinking, oh wow, like over here, they're like, oh wow, Telegram coin is so strong. Look at this. Wow, this is fucking massive. It doesn't seem to care about Bitcoin. Well, guess what? Everything eventually does care about Bitcoin, and then it starts to look like that. So, looked amazing on the 9th of April, 10th of April, 11th of April. By the end of April, not so great. So, the same thing could be happening here, where undeniably, Toncoin looks excellent. Great move. But, unless you see a high volume breakout with a close, I would not consider this to be a continuation move yet. So if it closes where it is right now, if it closes there today, I wouldn't consider that bullish. Now I need to get a chart with aggregated. I want to get Toncoin perpetuals plus Toncoin perpetuals here. And I want to get Binance. Is there no Toncoin spot on Binance? That's weird. I'll get OKX and I'll get Bybit. So there's four of the biggest. Divided by 4, right? Then we get a nice aggregate chart where we can put on volume profile and we can look through this upper structure that we're in here. So since the top, from top to bottom, we had this level and the value area high was set there, could not get above it, and then it flipped it. See that? Value area high, which is the shaded area. From top to bottom, the sell off, so that's all the initial selling, came back up. First attempt failed, second attempt flipped it. There's an initial first level to look at. There's quite a nice confluence support resistance. What you want to look at that for is, let's imagine Toncoin breaks higher for another few days, but then rejects as Bitcoin pulls back. You'd be looking at this area to potentially be a future bottom. That would be typically a good area to keep in mind for the future. Then the entire structure, I would say everything from the impulse candle all the way across to where we are now, just before the breakout. And here we have the upper end. So ton inside this box, if it falls back inside that box, it's probably going to go to the other side, unless it's able to hold at that level and get back outside it. So keep that in mind. And for me, the breakout remains valid above 730, right? In terms of breaking away from the area where it couldn't previously hold. If you look at ton, there was only wicks here. Only wicks. Only wicks. Now it's closing candles. That's showing that it's building value through that area. If it is going to be a legitimate breakout, it should not go back below yesterday's low. Right? It shouldn't go below yesterday's low in the short term. If you're trading the lower time frame momentum on ton, should not go below that red line, or orange as I've made it. If you want to see the strongest possible breakout, you really want to see today's candle closing above, well above $8, ideally with high volume, to equal a proper breakout and immediate continuation. Now, volume so far is just around average, but we're only 10 hours into the day. So we could see a nice big above average volume breakaway candle today, which would lead to more immediate continuation tomorrow and the following day. I do not think that's the case yet. And be mindful as well that if Bitcoin fails, I'll go over here, sorry. If Bitcoin does fail, you can see ton do something more like this, where it does keep outperforming Bitcoin. The dips do keep getting bought, but eventually it's unable to break significantly higher, falls back down, reaccumulates, and goes again later on, maybe when the market becomes bullish a few weeks from now. And that's not me saying the market isn't bullish. I don't know. This is all assumptions based on if there's a Bitcoin failure, if Bitcoin does fail to go higher. So, I should have, I didn't save that. So, I didn't save that chart. Ton, USDT, ton, USDT, ton, USDT plus. Let's fucking go. OKX and Bybit spot. I just need to remember to save this to the watch list. There's my aggregate chart with no drawings on it. Okay, I've done something wrong. Let me put the brackets on. There we go. Ton, 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 and divided by 4. Boom. There we go. Save. All right. So there are some trade ideas going into today for ton. I would say if you go to the lower time frame, this should be a pure momentum play. If it is going to follow a breakout path, it should stay on the 4-hour bands. 4-hour bands should stay valid. And you would like to see it pushing higher. This is one of those ones where you want to see it not pulling back. It needs to push higher, more volume, push higher, more volume. Close as high as possible. Proper breakouts should have a big breakaway candle. If they do, they're more likely to continue, and you can consider that as a continuation play. I'll take you back to Caspa from last year, which had a very good setup for that too. You can see it over here. It moved up into the highs. There you go. It had a nice consolidation. And on this breakaway candle, which you want to look at here, it's what you saw. Straight move up, breakout, high volume. Put the volume on. Straight up, breakout, high volume, followed up, high volume, consolidate, short consolidations, high volume, volume, strong, real strength, lengthy compression, strong breakout. Toncoin, I do not see a lengthy compression. I do not see a strong breakout. I do not see strong volume. I do not see any of those things yet. So don't be surprised if this is just still slightly too soon for it. That's it. GM.